Hey guys, I just wanted to talk to you real quick in this video about how to find a real estate agent, who to select, who to work with, and some quick tips for making the right decision, because everyone knows a real estate agent. You probably know at least 3 or 4 people who are licensed realtors, and obviously I would like to be your first choice, but if you're not in my market, or something like that, this applies to anyone, anywhere. So if you're wondering what the best thing to do to pick your real estate agent is, this video is for you. So first and foremost, you want someone with good communication skills. I tell people this at listing appointments all the time. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to communicate with me daily for maybe like 3 to 6 months at a time, however long it takes, for your entire process, start to finish. You're going to have to communicate very, very regularly with your agent, and you want them to be able to communicate with you. So when you are first interviewing realtors or deciding who that you want to work with, make sure that there's someone who communicates very, very well. Try to think of times, whether you're just meeting them at a listing appointment, did they convey what they needed to convey? Did they answer the questions that you had? If they're a personal friend or family member of yours, think about other times you've had communication issues with them. Have you had communication issues? How do you know how they're going to communicate with other people? Because that's the other side of the coin, is not only do you have to communicate effectively with them, but they are representing you to everyone else in the transaction. And so if they aren't communicating well with you, chances are they're not going to communicate well with other people as well. So really evaluating their communication style, if it's something that you respond to, or if you believe that other people will respond to, you really, really need a good communicator to be your agent. Another thing you want your agent to have is integrity. You want someone who's going to put your best interest above their own. If you're worried about, or if they are worried about their bottom line, then they're going to be less worried about your success. And so from point A to point B, from the very beginning of your relationship with your real estate agent, you want to be confident that there's someone who is going to put your best interest above their own. And so you want to make sure that person has integrity. Look for clues of integrity all around. If it's kind of like, oh, let's sweep this under the rug, if they're willing to do that in your favor, they're probably willing to do that in their own favor and to your detriment. So I would just be careful with that and make sure that the person you're selecting, you know for sure what their integrity looks like. Or if they're being referred to you, that the person that referred them wouldn't use someone who has low integrity standards, if that makes sense. You want someone that's available. This is not to knock people who do real estate part-time or have other full-time jobs and they're just trying to get into it. I was there once upon a time too. But you need someone who's going to be able to meet you where you are, to drop everything to show you a house when it comes on the market. You need someone who is going to be able to schedule appointments. If they're working around 3 or 4 other jobs, they're probably not going to be able to serve you the best. And so I know that that's a tough truth, because you got to start somewhere, and it's hard to get started in real estate and get to that full-time status where you can open up your schedule for all your clients. But if you're working with someone who has other jobs or other priorities other than real estate, you really need to have that conversation with them. Like, how available are they actually going to be for you? Because in this market, they have to be pretty darn available. And I would also say, not just available in time, but also technologically. You want to work with somebody who knows how to use technology and has those resources available, because this is a technological business now. If someone is doing everything on paper, chances are they're not going to work super well with other agents, because everyone is streamlining technology at this point. So you really need someone who does their business in the online space. I would also say available relationally, and that might sound weird, but if someone is too overloaded with their own goals and their own purpose, they're not going to be very attentive to what your goals might be or what your needs might be. And so this kind of goes hand in hand with the communication aspect. Having a realtor who can really perceive what your needs are, even if you're not super great at communicating those needs, having someone who's been through it enough times to perceive what your needs are actually going to be, and then respond to those in a way that is in your best interest. So making sure that someone's available, to be able to handle the workload in that way for you. Which leads me to my next and final point is you want someone with experience. Again, not to knock new agents, but if you are working with a newer agent, you need to make sure that they have a mentor who's experienced, someone who's looking over their shoulder every single step of the way, to make sure that they don't make mistakes. The biggest thing that comes with experience is going to be cool composure. I've seen this before. I'm going to see it again. Nothing's going to scare me at this point. There are some serious situations, but what I've learned is that there are no emergencies in real estate. And so if your agent is responding to something like the house is on fire, the house is not literally on fire. Like, there are ways to deal with this. Like, with experience comes knowledge and a wealth of wisdom to handle the situations that come up. And so you just want to make sure that someone's been through this before, or if they are newer in the business, that the person that's guiding them has been through it before. Along with experience comes problem solving, and psychology, honestly. If you are working with someone who's never worked with buyers, they only list houses. I don't know who does that, but if they're like a listing agent and they're not actively working with buyers, they don't know what buyers are actively saying about properties on the market. If you get out of touch with 50% of the market, then you're not going to be able to advise your listings as well. So working with someone who does both sides of the transaction is actually a good thing. To someone who knows what buyers are looking for and what they want, and also how to market a property as a listing agent in a way that's going to resonate the most with the buyers who are looking at it. And the only way to know that is to be working with buyers. And some of my easiest and best listings have been when I'm working with active buyers who are looking for the house that I'm basically listing. And it hasn't always worked out where like, oh, these two people wind up buying and selling to each other. But like knowing that insider info, like, hey, I've got 3 buyers who are looking for your property right now. So when I'm listing your property, I know exactly how to market it to them because I'm already working with them. And it might not be concurrently like at the same time, but in general, you want someone who has that experience with both buyers and sellers so that they know how to problem solve, so that they know what buyer psychology looks like, so that they have cool composure when things come up in the transaction and they're not going to fly off the handle and, knee-jerk reaction that might make things go downhill. So those are the biggest tips I have for you. I think overall, making sure that the person you work with is someone that you like, someone that you can trust, and someone who has the heart of a teacher. And really all those things are gut feelings. So if you have a great gut feeling about someone, even if maybe they're newer in the business, like, it's okay to give people a chance. My early clients gave me a chance and I am so glad they did. But just making sure that you're taken care of in one of the largest, financial investments you're going to make. You don't want to go with just your cousin's best friend or your uncle's whatever, like your cousin just got their license. Like, that's nice for them, but like, really, when you're talking about investments, you can't get bent out of shape over business. Like, it is business, it's not personal. And in order for someone to hire me, I'm well aware that everybody knows realtors. And so I don't take that lightly. I know that to hire me, you're firing someone else essentially. So it's never personal, it's always business, but you gotta do what's best for you and find the right fit for sure. So if you have any questions about any of that or you need any real estate help, be sure to reach out to me.